Now, witches are very curious people.
Hello and welcome to The Witching Hour, a monthly podcast for the creative horror fan where we discuss topics related to the horror genre from creepy, history, lore, media, and anything creative, all with the hope that we can inspire and motivate you to create your own horror. My name is Sade.
I'm Rebel.
And I'm Ophelia.
And happy Halloween to all our listeners. This is a bonus episode that we're putting out for October, just in that we wanted to get some extra spooky content out there for our favorite month. This should be going out the night before Halloween. So, just to plug in some of our other creative horror shows, our family of shows, I know UCA is back this month with the winners of the Disney Park Creepypasta challenge that they've had going, and they're finally announcing the winners. I'm going to be in that episode too. And I do believe we also have a special episode of Midnight Marinara returning for Halloween. So I'm super excited for that. So just head on over to creativehorror.com. I got a whole bunch of stuff there for you. Woo! Okay.
That's a lot of housework.
Yes. October
Speaking
is
of houses,
busy month. Oh, also update for our patrons. I am mailing out Halloween packages to our active patrons. Patrons who have been active in the last month, and those packages should be mailed out by the time this episode goes up. I hope you like the stuff I have mailed you. Okay.
is it spoopy? No.
Yeah, it's Halloween stuff. I have to throw one at each of you, too.
Yeah.
I'll mail Ophelia's, but Ravel's I'm just gonna literally throw at you when I see you next.
There you go. Which will be Tuesday.
There we go! Oh, I'm very already. Alright, let's get into the episode. First off, we all talked about doing Inktober.
And I didn't.
You're gonna draw us a Catboy every day.
Oh, that's right.
Shit. I just watched my friend draw beautiful.
We want at least one beautiful Catboy before the end of the month.
Yeah, just do one.
Alright, I can do that.
Okay.
I'll even do that.
I might do that too. So I did really good the first 2 weeks of October. I did quick little watercolor pieces for most of the days. And then I am also working on still finishing this doll for the Halloween season. I'm almost done with it. Not really. So I kind of abandoned Inktober to focus on working on that, and told myself I would, if I have some time at the end of the day, maybe I'll do a little watercolor piece. But nope, not since that. I have not done anything else. So I'm pretty sure I'm done with Inktober, but I would like to do at least one more watercolor piece before the end of the month. So maybe I'll do a spoopy Catboy.
Yep.
Can we all challenge ourselves to at least do one Catboy before Halloween?
Yeah, I can. I've been actually drawing more recently, so it's like I will do a Catboy.
All right, and then guys, send me the Catboys, and we'll share them on Twitter.
Hell to
OC, don't steal.
Yeah.
Motherfucking original character, do not steal. Like, I'm gonna make the best sparkle Catboy you have ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And then I'm gonna get unironically invested.
No, we have to do this. Okay, this is a promise to our listeners. We're gonna draw Catboys for them.
Yes,
all right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Shit. I need to make a note in my phone. Draw Catboy.
Yeah, like a reminder.
November. Are we all doing NaNoWriMo, or is it just Ribbon?
Wait, how lewd can this be?
Well, we're gonna put it on our
Catboy
Twitter.
porn.
We're gonna put it on the Witch Hour Twitter. So you can
Twitter allows
send me
raunchy shit.
Yeah, I know. Send me a censored version that I can put on the Witch Hour Twitter, and also send me. You can tweet out your own much more lewd version, and then send me that too, so I can look at it.
Oh my gosh! I say jokingly. It just occurred to me, but yeah.
Oh god, they updated my reminders app, so I accidentally made a list of Draw Catboy. So it's like, guess I'm drawing Catboy every day for a long time.
Good. Sounds like a plan.
Alright, but NaNoWriMo. I know I'm doing it, and anyone else?
I'm doing it.
God, I don't know. I wish, no.
That's fine. That's totally
I know
fine.
I couldn't focus on that.
See, I know I can do it. It's just a matter of I gotta nail down what I actually want to write for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always my struggle. But it's like, I know I can hit the word count easily.
Mm-hmm. I think I know what story I'm doing. It's one that I've had in the back of my head for a long time. That I think I started at one point, and I don't know where that file went.
Does it involve murder?
Maybe.
I feel like that's just a safe bet.
That maybe is an abso-fucking-lutely it has murder.
I'll do it.
I've actually also been, throughout the month, been putting together a playlist on Spotify for just when I'm writing.
Nice,
In theme with the plot. Okay, anyway. October's been busy. We still got some things left before the end of the month. November's coming up.
Oh, God.
End of the year's coming up, which is gonna be...
What?
Yeah. Witching Hour's gonna turn 4 years old this year, so I don't know if that's gonna
Wow.
go on there. But yeah. Anything else we want to get? Anything we want to share in the segment of like this is what we've been up to?
I've been reading short stories by horror authors because people were like, these are good actually. And my commentary, Stephen King, good. Sometimes not great. And I enjoy that he also is like, guess what? Some of my short stories, they're just garbage. But I needed to finish them. And I'm just like, you know what? You are amazing. You seem like a real dude. He actually sounds like a really cool guy. Like, in case anybody wanted to know about that dude's philanthropy and shit, he seems like a pretty chill dude. Like, he's really nice.
It's kind of reassuring to know that Stephen King doesn't just write gold all the time for sure.
So. And that he's also aware of it, that he at least acknowledges it.
He's really funny. He's really funny when you read him, like, talk about his own shit. And then I've also been reading Thomas Ligotti, who is really good. And I've been enjoying his short stories. They stick with you. They're creepy in a different way, and I enjoy that. And he's also a socialist,
it actually
so like rock and
me
roll.
That you would bring up those two authors, because shout out to a friend of the show, Zaph, because he hates Stephen King but loves Ligotti. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, yeah, they're extremely different and fundamentally and ideologically, and you can absolutely see too. Yeah. But so I was like, I got to try everything because I was afraid to read horror my whole life. So I'm like, oh, I'm an adult now. Maybe I won't shit my pants trying to read some books.
So I've actually been doing some reading too.
Oh, yeah?
Actually, specifically just in the last 2 nights, I read all of what is Captive Prince by...
Oh, holy shit! No! So it's just, I have heard things that make me think it's up our alley.
I'm sure that I still have both of those books.
Well, there's 3 now, and I'm gonna... tomorrow or the next day, I'm picking up the next 2 books from the library, because I got them on hold.
Oh, they straight up... Oh, they're in print now. Because, like, I bought them when you could only get them in ebook form.
Yeah.
Back when they were very first published. Oh, no. Sure. I didn't finish them. Because it was, like, part of the fetish was not up my alley. But I also... That was a long time ago. So now I should probably read those again.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I got those on my Nook in 2002. Fucking whatever. When was that? That was 2012.
It was a while ago now, yeah. Yeah, no, I read the entirety of the first one in 2 nights. I'm kind of embarrassed about that, but it's like, I don't know, I guess I was just starving for some gay content, but it's not even, okay, never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. This customer, who I've hung out with a few times outside of work, was like, oh, hey, haven't seen you in a while, how you been? I'm like, oh, I'm good, I've been doing some reading, I should try to finish this book. And as soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, fuck,
like, well, shit.
Why did I say that? They're gonna ask me what book it is. And I'm like, maybe they won't ask. No, I know this person likes to read. And I'm like, oh, what book it is? And I'm like,
you're
is
like,
it okay if I don't tell you?
Oh, yeah. You should just be like, Fuck.
Anyway.
It's just a geopolitical crisis in Ukraine. You wouldn't be interested.
I couldn't lie, because if I did say that, they would be interested.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have been reading, too. I have been reading fan fictions.
You know what? That's
the only fan fiction I read are my own fics, and that's when they get kudos for no reason, and I forget whatever the fuck drivel I wrote in 2009 for the Natalia kink meme.
God, yes! I miss kink memes, damn it.
Brett's like, one of my favorite stories to tell people is about how the Alpha and Omega fandom originated from the supernatural kink meme.
Yeah.
And there's other kink memes that started loads of shit that have now reached the mainstream, and we're like, love that if we ever told the true internet story of this thing, it starts with, so this is what a kink meme is. So this is where live trolls, just that's some deep shit. That's some deep ass lore.
Yeah, that's, I don't read fan fiction usually anymore, and then it's
really hard to sift through the drivel.
I found myself actively going after fan fiction is when I've hooked onto a ship that is so niche and just
you're just I have to absorb all of the possible content.
Or it's just there's not enough content out there for me that I'm that I am forced to then go looking for fan fiction.
No, on the plus side, because it's Probert, of course. Anybody who follows my Twitter would fucking know I am right now. But it's no, fortunately my ship is just there. It's the only thing is it's the dynamic. I have to find the right dynamic because I'm a picky person about
People don't always write it the right way.
But that being said, I've been surprisingly satisfied compared to my past ship, which had hardly anything at all and was usually just kind of meh. So I'm like, no, I'll thank you for that.
I'm just what did have a lot of quality.
Welcome to the shipping hour, where we discuss all of our favorite OTPs, no TPs.
Literally, what the fuck just happened? The declining quality of fanfiction.
That needs to be our April Fool's episode.
Oh, we could do that. Oh my god, can we do that? We're gonna do that. Someone write that down.
I just talk about our ships for an hour.
Oh, we could totally
especially talk about our nostalgia ships, that we still are just ride or die
that
for.
That would be so embarrassing. You just want to hear me talk about Inuyasha and Naraku for a half hour?
Oh shit, that's right.
I was gonna say the Digimon Emperor for you, but
I shipped him with myself. I'm sorry.
I was like, I'm pretty sure my friend that had a Digimon ship had some weird threesome Digimon ship that just offended me on principle, and I don't even go there. And I don't remember what he. And I think he was in it. I think Ken was in it. I don't remember who the others.
Anyway, okay, bring it back in. Murder houses and Halloween. That's where we're supposed to be.
Your OTP buys a murder house. How do they decorate it?
Okay, so it's fine if we go off on a bit of a tangent here and there this episode, because we're just here for fun, for some Halloween fun, some spooky fun, maybe a little bit of gay fun.
Oh, absolutely, because I'm bringing some fun to the table, let me tell you.
So what we've decided, I think it was Ophelia who posted the link to the article. There is HGTV or some channel like that that's going to be
a Halloween special thing.
Oh, is it just a Halloween special?
I think so, yeah.
I wanted a whole TV series. Damn.
Not enough murder houses. People need to commit more murders.
Okay, but I guess the premise of this show is they're going to look for a murder house, so a house where some crime or a murder has taken place on the property, and they're gonna buy it, they're gonna flip it, and I don't know do they actually sell it, or maybe we'll
I don't know.
We'll watch the actual show eventually somehow, and maybe do some commentary on that. But yeah, so we thought that was pretty awesome. I would love to, especially because it's probably in some cases, not always, it's cheaper.
Unless it's
slightly, ever so slightly, a little cheaper than a normal house. But especially for Japan. I was watching, maybe I'll link the video in the show notes, but I was watching this one, this comedian who makes a point, and he works it into his routine, into his stand-up, of how he just lives in these essentially murder houses, usually apartments or whatnot. where, you know, other people don't want to live, and there's like an actual site where you can find different locations in Japan where the rent is so much cheaper because someone died, and it could just be someone who died of natural causes.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, Japan still got a little bit of that as, what they call it, superstition.
There's the, like, death-related, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
we're
for
just,
me,
like, morbid fucking freaks over here. We're just like, ghosts aren't real, what the fuck? Like, that's actually a fun story about American history. But yeah, we uniquely don't give a shit about ghosts for some reason. But aliens freak us the shit out.
Okay, so what we decided to do then for fun is each of us have gone and tried to find a murder house that appeals to us for whatever reason. We have selected a murder house of our own that if we had an unlimited budget, we would purchase said house, flip it, and we're gonna share the house, what the murder that happened there was, murder or murders, and maybe any details we could find on the house and what we would do with it. And then if we have time, so we're gonna have to try and be snippy about this, we do have some Halloween related questions from listeners for us to answer.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
All right, who wants to go first and share their murder house?
Mine is probably going to be really, I think it's going to be shorter than you guys, potentially.
I will probably ramble forever, so go for it.
All right, let's go Ravel, then I'll go, and then we will go with Ophelia, and we'll just wrangle Ophelia.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm not...
Squeeze in the questions at the end, okay?
Yeah, I am not a decorator or a designer by any means, so, like, for me, I was just like, oh, man, this is going to be hard for me. Like, I'm the type of person when I'm playing The Sims 4, I just download a house that somebody else made.
Okay, but for real though, because, like, fuck, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like, it seems so fun at first, and then it immediately becomes overwhelming the moment you're like, I'm gonna buy some wallpaper, and then you go, fuck this. Like,
okay, I love doing that. Like, when we were kids, my mom, so we have we built our own house in Mexico. Not like us, but like my mom had a house built for us in Mexico. So when we first had a computer, one of the first things that I had for my computer was not the internet, but this like program where you would build a house.
Yeah.
That's all it was for, was building a house, and it would help you figure out your blueprints, and it had like models and whatnot. My brother and I spent hours on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
I mean, some people are really into it. Some people literally play The Sims just to do builds.
Yeah, all I remember is my little brother built a house, and you could apply textures to things, and he just made everything metal. And he was so proud of it.
He's like, look at my sanitarium.
Alright, anyway, do your best with Ravel. I'm sure you've chosen a lovely home, and we're eager to hear about it.
Okay, shoot, hang on. All of a sudden, I fucked up, and I'm like, where did my notes go? I don't know if I really need them, because it's a pretty simple and short murder thing, for that matter, as well. But I ended up going with, I'm gonna frick this name up after I had listened to how it was said several times, Rawmeyer or Ray Myers. It's called the Ray Myers Hollow or the Hex Hollow, depending on, I think, if they're going for the spoopy side of things. Ooh. But so I picked this house because it was in Pennsylvania, which is where
spooky on its own.
Yeah, spooky on its own. It's also where my grandparents lived, so I was like, okay, I'm familiar with like Pennsylvania, and it involves magic. So
like, hell yeah!
Do you have pictures of the house?
I'm trying to pull up a good picture of it. That's the house. It's also, so some things I thought was interesting about the house as well. Yeah, it's like hardly been touched is how I understand it. Like,
just at a glance, like just looking at the thumbnail that came up, I'm like, that's a fucking witch house.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep. And that's what's kind of weird about it.
It reminds me of that reminds me of the fucking house from American Horror Story Roanoke. But also, yeah, it would.
Yeah. So the
those all look like that.
Thing that's interesting about it as well is it was like, so the murder happened, and then the house just kind of sat there, is my understanding from things I've read. And then like some descendants came, were like, oh, we're gonna make it look nice, and then we're gonna like, and it's like, of course it's haunted because it was it was back in 1928 that the murder occurred. So this ghost has had a lot of time to stew there. And I guess they opened it up to the public in like 2007 for a while, but
Interesting.
now I guess they only do it for like Halloween occasionally, that they'll let like a tour go on. I think it's now taken care of by like a great grandson, something like that, who's still keeper. But I have to laugh, and you can see it in this photo because I also watched this video where these cameramen went up to the house to just kind of look around. You know, it's got ADT on it. I guess people try to like sneak in or break in, and the guy is just not having it. And supposedly he gets real grumpy about it. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. So it's like, don't. I was surprised because I was definitely like, what are you guys doing technically? Because there's literally a no trespassing sign on it.
Yeah.
You know, and here's these cameramen like, let's go look in the windows. It's like, that's not really cool, actually, dudes. But yeah, but it was so just to kind of get into the murder. Then pull up my notes again. The day before Thanksgiving in 1928.
Fuck yes.
Yeah,
I think that's the same year that mine happened.
Oh my
year
God.
Before. Yeah.
So that's the day the murder took place. The victim was Nelson Raymeyer. He was supposedly a powwow doctor or practitioner, as they call it. So, you know, so that's like white magic kind of, they call, like, if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's called folk magic. And,
yeah.
And it's like, kind of this, like, if you don't feel well, put your shoes at the edge of the door and, like, spin around 5 times kind of stuff is my understanding.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Because at first I thought it was, like, a Native American thing, but it's
and then it turns out it's just a racist misuse of the word.
Yeah, so according to, like, it says, although the word powwow is Native American, these ritual traditions are of European origin and were brought to colonial Pennsylvania by the transatlantic migrations of German-speaking people from Central Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries. So yeah, they took the word. It has nothing to do with Native Americans.
We just colonized the word for some crazy fucking white people mysticism.
It is.
That's like shit we still do.
Yeah, really. It's like we would still do that. So he's already got like this reputation. He apparently he was kind of a recluse. He was estranged from his wife and his 2 kids.
I would be in that house.
Yeah, so he's just kind of doing his thing. And so this other guy, his neighbor, John Blymeyer, let me just frick this name up, Blymeyer, he's about 30 years old. He is really down on his luck. Also, you'll like this, the victim apparently had socialist leanings, so...
because I was thinking that, because at the time, this would have been the year right before the stock market crash, so the socioeconomics, like, of, like, how stressed out people were, is kind of the same as it is right now, right? Where it's just, like, things are just kind of tense and crazy shit happens all the time, so, like, damn, there were a lot of murders.
Yeah, so his neighbor John, basically, he was having just a really rough time. He couldn't keep a job. I think his wife just divorced him. He had lost 2 of his children. So this guy is not in a good place.
Yikes.
This is where, like, I don't know if this is 100% confirmed or not. But supposedly he sought out a witch in Lancaster County, funnily enough. I thought I had her name written down, but I don't think I do. Because I gave her a name, which makes me go, okay, maybe you did check it out then. Yeah,
maybe this like, trick is real.
Yeah, let me see. Did it say? Took advice from a local witch named Nellie Knoll, known as the River Witch of Marietta. Okay, so I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Nellie Knoll.
Nellie Knoll, yeah. So apparently she was just like, oh, you're cursed, dude. And, so yeah, under the... So he, like, what does it say? Under the advice, he just so this comes up. I guess he was already suspecting it, supposedly, because of the fact that this other guy was a powwower, as they call him. And so she confirmed it and said, if you want to undo the curse, you need to find his practitioner's book and a lock of hair and like bury it, something to that.
This shit is absolutely insane.
Yeah, this is so she's just like, yeah, just go get some hair and do this thing, and it'll be fine. And so he enlists the help of two teenagers, one 18, named Wilbert Hess, and John Curry, who was 14. So young people, especially the second one. So he's like, all right, we're gonna go do this. We're gonna go find this. We're gonna go find this spell book, and we're gonna put an end to this. So they invade his house to look for this spell book. Supposedly, even I think Wilbur might have decided he might have been under this guy's hex as well. So yeah, they all get together. They go into the house, break in, and they find that Nelson is still there. So they tie him up after a struggle ensued. Can't find his practitioner's book, and so they proceed to beat him to death while he is tied. Yep. Just, okay, well, can't find your book, can't do the thing, guess we're just gonna kill you.
Holy shit.
Yep, so they beat him to death, and then realizing, oh shit, what'd we do? They decide to set him on fire afterwards, and they're like, we're just gonna burn the house down with him in it.
I was just like, did they set him on fire in the house?
Yep, so they set him on fire in the house. They're just gonna like, and so here's where some of the people also say this confirms that the other guy, the victim Nelson, was not, or who he was some type of witch or something, that it didn't actually, the house did not go up in flames. It burned in that one area, and then nothing happened, basically. So, of course, they're all caught immediately because they thought we'll just burn down the evidence. Well, it didn't burn down. Another neighbor apparently realized that Nelson's farm animals had not been fed that day, and that's when he called the police in, I guess, to go check on him and realized what happened. Yeah. So,
poor Nelson.
Yeah, poor Nelson. He's just this old powwow practitioner, and just people decided he deserved to die because
they needed to murder him for his book.
And then when I guess it was one of those things when they couldn't find the book, they decided killing him would break the curse just as well. So,
oh yeah,
you made it sound like it was an accident that they killed him because they were like, oh shit, what do we do? Is it maybe they were like trying to beat the information out of him, like where's your fucking book, and then they took it too far?
Has gone into like that, just that they decided to beat him to death. So it's like, but they don't even. That's the one thing I was. They don't really go into like the 100% motives beyond the fact that they could not find the book. They beat him to death. So.
If you really think you're under a curse, then, I mean, I guess, question mark?
My understanding is that the murder was considered deliberate, but they all got convicted for life, but I guess supposedly they got let out later, is what I heard. I don't know the source on that. It was just on a video I ended up watching, so it wasn't like part of one of the sourced articles. Take that with a grain of salt. Yeah, it's a shame, because
Pennsylvania.
Superstitions in Pennsylvania, yeah. So this house has, like I said, it's hardly been touched. They said that they still have the original couch in there from that he had, and of course it's considered haunted.
Yeah, it's haunted as hell. Why'd you keep that?
Yeah. So the thing that kind of I thought was interesting about the house, though, is, like I said, I picked it partially because I was like, oh, witches and hexes, and also it's pretty much has not been. I think it got renovated pretty much once. That's about it. So you're working from bottom of the barrel kind of thing.
In the photo that you shared, the roofing doesn't look that old.
Yeah, it's like I think they've at least done the roofing, but my understanding is like as far as like really like completely renovating the place, I think it only got done once since like 1928.
Oh, I want to know what it looks like inside.
Yeah,
that shit looks spooky as hell on the inside.
I've seen some pictures. They still have an old wood burning stove in there.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure they don't have a lot of pictures, just a couple, and they were actually kind of hard to find. But yeah, so I get the impression and I think like it looks like when they did the renovation, I think in like 2007, I think they did put in potentially new floors down. Mm-hmm. But then they have
we got electricity gone in there.
Mm-hmm. And I guess there was this, there is like this picture of like where this beam was that, where he, I guess, had been tied to or something like that.
Oh my god.
It's like just this empty space now, but they just kind of leave it there because
they took out the beam?
Yeah, the beam's not there. So it's just like this.
It looks like that'd be dark as hell.
That's what it looked like to me anyways. It's like, okay, well, there's not a beam there, and they said the beam was there. So it's like, okay, so they must have removed it. And so now it's just this hole in the ground, basically, where
Holy shit.
burned. Yeah. So.
Oh, yikes.
Yay! So.
Wow.
I love it.
All right, well then tell us how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, what would you do with it?
That's the thing. That one thing that made me sad about this is I couldn't find specifically, like, it's a 3-story house, and it actually looks like it's a 4-story because I think there's like a basement area.
Yeah, it looks like you definitely got some kind of, at least either a basement or access to a pretty big crawl space. It looks.
Yeah, but I could not find specifics on like how many bedrooms there were or anything like that. So I was just like, okay, well, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna rip the interior out anyway.
Oh my god.
Because it's not, because like the thing about these old houses too is like they only ever had like one like sleeping space anyways. So I can totally, like, I have a feeling, especially with the simplicity of it, it's like, yeah, there probably was kitchen, living room, and then bedroom, and then attic, pretty much. Because it's not on the one hand, it's a big house, and on the other hand, it kind of isn't when you really look at it. Because it's just this really basic box.
It looks roomy. I mean, all I have to go off of is this picture of the exterior. But I bet you could get, like, 2 decent right-sized rooms in the upstairs, and you could... I've always wanted a bedroom in the attic.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That was one of my childhood dreams, is my room in the attic. So I bet you could, fix that up nice.
So what if I were going to design the house for me, like downstairs would be kitchen, living room. Second floor would be crafts area, basically.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of like another living area, but specifically devoted to like crafts. And then the top floor would be the bedroom. So
I could totally see that with this. I would love that. And then you have like storage and a place to get rid of the body downstairs. In the basement.
Yep, there you go. Do it right this time. Don't just burn it and run off. And also for me, it's like I would absolutely, of course, I'd be like, okay, we're getting rid of this wood burning stove potentially for something.
No, I would keep it. I love old stoves.
On the plus side, you probably keep warm with it, so it probably doubles as like a heater.
Yeah,
but
that would have been the heater.
I know, like for me, it's like I would replace all the shingles on it because those look old as fuck at this point.
I like it. That gives it such a creepy charm. I love it looks like it looks
to be creepy.
Like the house had been on fire with the way how like dark it is. I thought maybe it did go up in flames. And I love that really rusted, metal-y, like, color on the frames.
I like that this dude was straight up executed by funeral pyre in the center of his own home, and, like, people were just shown that house. Like, holy shit, New England. What the fuck?
So,
technically New England? I don't know. Sort of.
I don't know, actually.
It's a cute house. I like it.
I like it.
I think it could definitely be turned into something pretty significantly neat looking for sure.
We'll put at least one picture of our houses in links in the show notes, or just
I've got a full venue brochure from BeverlyHills.org.
Holy shit!
But that's what I get for going with a fucking mansion.
Yeah. But I do also love the fact that it is it's kind of isolated, and the older I get, the more I just want to live
away from everything. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going because we got a lot to get to.
I can go until like 9:30 now.
Okay.
I negotiated that with Brett.
Oh wow, it's late. Okay.
Yeah, but we're still on there quite a crunch though. All right, so for my house that I have decided that I would like to purchase and flip. Well, I wouldn't flip it because I would want to live in it.
That's my issue is that I was like, shit, now I want to live in it the way it is. But I want to talk about it.
I chose the childhood home of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. How do I even start on this? So it is a 2,170 square foot home built in 1952. It is a mid-modern architecture type house. It is in Akron, Ohio. And it sits on a 1.55 acre lot, which I like. even though it's like, it's in like foresty, like hillside. So like the driveway like leads up to the house and there's like a little like walkway too. So it's like on like kind of the side of the hill. So it goes up and then behind it, the hill keeps going up with like a whole bunch of trees all around. So I think that's I like that a lot. It's 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I think there's also like a really large living room space that is connected to the kitchen. And what I loved about it most is I think it's in towards the back of the house, so it looks out into up towards the trees. Are large windows that go along one side of the living room and the kitchen and like the dining type area. I could not find photos or like floor plan, and I looked really hard, but so I'm kind of trying to describe this based off all the pictures that I saw.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a picture of the house itself?
Oh yes, I have. Here's a picture of the.
In the 50s, there were a lot of houses where it was like they were built with the entrances on the back of the house or the side of the house. Yeah, behind like a fence, which is some weird shit that they did in suburbia. But yeah, that could actually be why.
Gosh, that's really interesting. That is an interesting house because it doesn't look 1950s. Oh, wow. It almost looks 1970s.
It does look very 70s. I think from the sepia of the picture, but also...
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the picture that I sent you guys, it's a photo. That's actually a still from the movie My Friend Dahmer, because they actually went and filmed in his actual childhood home.
Oh,
for parts of that movie. So, but yeah, like the wherever those windows are, there's also that like porch, and I love that porch. And somewhere, I think in the back or somewhere, there's like this little attached greenhouse. And I'm like, fuck, I'm a sucker for greenhouses, even though I don't garden.
Literally, though.
I'm also gonna give you guys this link to that, and that kind of has a little like thing you can scroll through that has pictures of the interior. Okay.
Oh, geez, that's a nice house.
It is a cute house. Like, I kind of was just like, oh, okay, this looks like I could, like, see this, and I like this, and I was like, and the more I looked at pictures of this place, I was like, I want this house. Fuck.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Dahmer's parents moved into the house in 1968 when he was 8 years old, and he committed his first murder there when he was 18. He picked up a hitchhiker and brought him to the house. At this point, his parents had been in a really rocky relationship. Dahmer was pretty neglected by them. I don't know if it was the mother or the father who left first.
Holy shit.
The other parent was also just, like, gone and, like, not around. So that's why he was able to bring home a hitchhiker and kill him there in the home. Most of these details I'm, like, going off of memory, because I just wanted to find stuff on the house. But yeah, he killed his first victim was, I believe it was 16 years old at the time.
Yikes.
Was this boy named Stephen Mark Hicks.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It was only his first victim that he killed there in the house. And I know, did he spread body parts there around the house or just in the wood area nearby? Because I think
it was just nearby, because I think all the weird in the house shit was at his apartment.
Yeah, that was way later after he moved. Because a lot of the articles about the house being on sale was like, oh, he's spread the parts of the body around the property. But I also remember hearing a story or hearing that he had put the body into bags. He had like 5 trash bags and he drove off to get rid of the body. And he ended up being pulled over with the bags in the car.
Oh, shit.
And
that's right.
Yeah. So like it couldn't have been that close to the house if he like had to drive.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the details exactly. I don't want to get into Dahmer too much because like that is a whole fucking episode on its own.
Yeah, he is.
You know, he got rid of the body into the woods. It's somewhere more or less close to the house. But yeah, only one victim was killed there. The house itself, like, I haven't seen My Friend Dahmer, like the film yet, but I want to now just so I can get a better view of this house.
Of the house.
So cute. Like the living room. There's like this old photo where you can kind of see a kid and I think a parent on the couch in like the living room. There's a brick wall with a fireplace, and next to that is like all the open windows. And I think that there's a bookshelf in the photo that I think was taken out, and that leads into the dining/kitchen area. Some of the photos I saw, so now I'm going to get into the renovating. I'm going to link you guys to this, because this also has some photos of what I'm talking about. The cabinets in the kitchen have this, like, metal finish now that I don't think was there before, and I don't like it. I don't like
You're like,
I don't like the metal finish.
Garbage.
I want some wood cabinets.
Gotta go.
Some nice wood cabinets. Yeah, that would definitely go. I've also seen the kitchen counter has been extended at the end to this, like, granite, like, ledge, tabletop, kind of like, what are those called? I forget what those are called.
The floating islands?
Not a floating island. It's just literally the counter. It's just a bit of granite that goes off of the counter to kind of square off that end of the kitchen, and it's got just this metal...
like a lip thing?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's ugly. I feel like it blocks off the flow from the kitchen to the little dining area. So I'm like, I would take that off. I would probably get rid of the granite counter altogether, because I'm not the biggest fan of granite.
Yeah. It also is, like, terrible in its manufacture for workers now, apparently. Oh, so, you know what? Ethically, don't get granite.
Cool.
Well, the new synthetic granite, to be fair. There's this weird new synthetic shit that people keep installing, and apparently it's real nasty stuff.
Yeah, but I don't like the kitchen at all. I would replace all the cabinets with something much more natural. I like more of a cabinet feel. Here
especially since it's in the, like, woods, like...
Yeah.
You're like, why do I want this to look like some sort of, like, 60s futuristic, like...
Okay, I found out, here's a picture of the kitchen and the, like, granite extension that I am, like, hating. There's that.
Oh, no.
Oh, stupid as hell.
Yeah, and, like, I don't know who owned the house when these photos were taken, but all those liquor bottles, like, everywhere, I'm like,
Yeah.
Somebody's got some problems.
Okay, somebody straight up was just like, you know what I want my fucking kitchen cabinets to look like? Like, they were ripped out of Tomorrowland. Like, who...
I want them to look like silver trash cans.
Yeah,
when you say ripped out of Tomorrowland, I was like, oh, but now that makes me like it.
Yes.
Just because you said Tomorrowland. But no, I want a much more, because it's so surrounded by all this really beautiful nature. I want it to be more cabinet. But here, okay, I'm sending you guys one more picture to what really sold it for me, which made me laugh when Lorraine's like, I'm going to take out the wood stove. And I'm like, oh, highlight. This is beautiful. I love it. I want it.
Oh, no, it wasn't. See, it wasn't a nice looking, like, it didn't really double as I didn't do it. Well, then again, now you would have still liked it, I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I love wood stoves. But yeah, and I think in that the Fox link, if you flip through it, you can see at least the exterior of the little greenhouse. Like, I am in love.
Yeah, it's super cute.
With this house. Like, I want it.
Where is this located?
This is in Ohio.
Okay, well, real estate's cheap there. You never know.
Okay, so the house was bought by a musician, I think his name is Chris Butler, from The Waitresses, for $300,000 back in, like, 2012?
For $300,000?
$300,000 back in 2012 or 2014.
All right.
Okay, so recent.
And then I think he was actually trying to sell it for a while, and I don't know who owns it now and if this is still current, but somewhere in 2016, there was an article that was like, you can stay in Dahmer's childhood home for
as an Airbnb or some shit?
Yeah, but like $8,000 a week.
Oh, God.
I was like,
what
shit.
What?
See, this is the difference between
really
Japan
think that
in America. That the murder houses are a selling point now.
Well, they think that the nerds who love murder have money, and they are mistaken.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure that worked out splendidly for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like, we're some of the poorest motherfuckers. I don't even know what you're talking about.
But anyway, I fell in love with this house, and I'm gonna just be dreaming about it for
it's beautiful.
Ever. But yeah, so I would, based on the pictures, I see a lot of wood flooring that I like. I see some, I think it's stone tiling in that living room. Either way, I kind of like it. I would probably do some repainting. It's 3 bedrooms, so I would obviously keep a bedroom for myself, but I like Luray, I like Breville, I would love a dedicated craft room. And then I guess a guest room, because I would love to host some guests, you know? And I would definitely make use of that greenhouse. I'm not a gardener, I have terrible allergies outside, but I would like to think that I would make use of that greenhouse and grow my own vegetables and sip my coffee looking out into the woods. I would love those woods during the day. I also love a lot of natural light, so that's why I love it, because there's so many windows.
And then you just sit there and be like, murder.
Yeah, and then at night, I'm like, oh, someone's watching me, isn't there?
So you'd have to get, like, a bunch
Bigfoot, or an alien gray, or some, like, Jersey
Mothman.
Devil out there. Mothman? Yeah, no.
Dude, Mothman just shoves his whole fucking body up
you
against
know what?
windows.
Can I just daydream? I buy this house, I fix it up, I'm living out there. Mothman visits me with flowers at the night. He comes inside for some tea. We have a steamy affair.
We share our OTPs. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep, so that is my murder house flip / fantasy. So
fantastic.
Good stuff. No, it's great that you were able to find like interiors and stuff for it too.
Well, yeah, because this house has been up for sale a couple times now, at the very least.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, my house apparently has never left the family, so it's still it's like no one's ever sold it.
I meant to give you guys the requirement that it has to be a house that had at one point been up for sale.
Oh, no.
I forgot to specify that, so it's fine. That's on me.
Sorry.
All right, Amelia, you're up.
Okay. So, number 1, I started by being like, you know what? I want to make my house look like Murder House from American Horror Story on the outside. And I'm going to be a big fat nerd, and I would change a bunch of different rooms, and I would theme my rooms like different seasons from American Horror Story.
Oh my god, I love this already.
Yeah, and like
you get to this. I feel like you do this no matter what. If you had unlimited money, like this is
right?
what you would do.
I would do it no matter what. And so I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I would do something subtle or absolutely outrageous for each room or whatever, because it'd be my guest rooms. And so probably subtle. I'll probably go with subtle if I decide to do that. So I go, okay, now I need to look up murder mansions. Turns out there is a bountiful supply of murder mansions. Also, every fucking murder mansion has a ridiculous story behind the murders that occurred at this mansion, because wealthy people are fucking crazy. Like, right? So, like, crazy shit happens all the time. And so part of why I decided on this house, even though I'm like, oh, this one's, like, pretty well known-ish. I guess I wouldn't say well known, but, like, I didn't do as deep of a dive as I normally would like to get into the real sneaky stuff. So, you can Google this. Everyone knows about it. However, the fun part is the U.S. history associated with it. I was like, gotta talk about it. So, this house is the Greystone Mansion. Sorry, Greystone Estate. And I will send you the link to the BeverlyHills.org official brochure of the estate that tells you the square footage. So many pictures. We've got a formal garden, a cypress walk / forecourt, a pool, some courtyards, a reflection pond, a rose garden. Like, it's insane. And it's like Tudor style on the outside, but then Victorian on the inside, which I was originally going to do a bunch of work on the inside, but then I saw some photos of the inside, and it was actually the way I wanted it to be. It's just the outside that was kind of left a lot to the imagination.
Huh.
Okay.
So this shit. Originally, too, I was like, I bet if I find a murder mansion, it's probably going to be the one that Murder House from AHS was already based on anyway. So I look up murder mansions. Here's the top 10 list of murder mansions. First one, Madame Lalaurie, of course, right? Of course,
yeah.
And then the second one, this bad boy. And it's like, where was I? Fucking Los Angeles. And the best part is that before I even looked this shit up, I was like, you know where I bet the majority of murder mansions are? Probably fucking Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And so the answers, there's like 3, right? That I found in my very cursory research. So I'm sure that there's probably all sorts of crazy, wacky ass. Oh yeah, there were 3, because the Sharon Tate situation with fucking Manson. Oh my god. Yeah, literally, just that area. So like,
are they like hosting weddings here now or something?
Yeah, they're doing all sorts
It looks
of
like,
shit
yeah,
with
like you could. Damn.
So there's like private tours and there's public tours, and they've got a website where they do their public tours. That one's got the real pretty pictures of the inside. Let me see if I can find it. Tours.
It's just super funny to me because all of a sudden it's like, I just imagine like, let's go get married at this murder mansion, honey.
At this murder mansion, right? So
they probably don't advertise that detail
people,
when they're like, you can get married here.
I think it's been full on covered up like hardcore, and not necessarily covered up, but I think people who know about it are like, it adds to the luxury of the place because it's like the level of the weird of the wildness of the wealthy.
It gives it some lore. Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. It's like wealthy people lore to them. They're like, this is delightful and mysterious. Wow. So it's also called the Doheny Mansion. And so what happened here was it was built by a terrible person, as mansions in the 20s are wont to be. So this dude was a gigantic oil tycoon, right?
Oh, God.
Oil tycoon. Turns out that Mr. Oil Tycoon, so I believe he gives this whole plot of land and the house to his son, Edward Ned Doherty, Doheny, who is like 30-something when he dies. So it's his son who is murdered in this house.
Oh, right? God.
And in what I believe was a torrid love affair, which we will get to.
I mean, probably.
Yeah, so, but it's got so many layers, it's actually incredibly fascinating, so maybe we don't know. So this shit, haunted as hell already. Built by an oil baron. How many people has that dude been personally responsible for murdering without, getting blood on his own hands, right? Already. Mm-hmm. So, in the same way that the Winchester Mansion, you're like, yeah, alright, pretty haunted probably. Like, this shit, pretty haunted probably. Mm-hmm. So, this man, his father, Ned's father, was involved in what apparently was the largest, scandal in U.S. history, huge, biggest scandal in U.S. history before Watergate. And after Watergate, everyone was just like, guess we forgot about every other time that the U.S. government was horrendously corrupt and did absolutely insane balls-to-wall bullshit. So, So if you ever wonder, what the 1860s through, the 1920s were like, absolutely insane. And here we are with this gentleman who has bribed a bunch of we were bribing members of Congress and presidents and shit constantly. So this dude was bribing members of the president's cabinet under Warren G. Harding, who apparently everybody, workers and shit, hated him because he was, basically a corporate puppet, because during that time, your presidents were just corporate puppets. So it was, how it worked. So this dude, oil tycoon, who has built this beautiful mansion, bribes a bunch of people in government to give his oil company access to these specially lucrative oil fields, right? That so that no other competition can have access to these super lucrative oil fields.
Monopoly.
And one of those was Teapot Dome, Wisconsin, and so it's called the Teapot Dome scandal. And this is the craziest part of this scandal. I mean, I can't even stress enough. So only one dude was ever I need to find the wiki for it because it was absolutely crazy town. So imagine all those people when Trump's like, okay, here's the two dudes that I've got slated to take over these positions. And everyone's like, man, I really hate those guys. And you know how there's a Trump scandal, I don't know, every 3 months? So imagine if one of Trump's scandals mattered so much that two of his appointees to a cabinet position killed themselves.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at. So two of the presidential cabinet appointees killed themselves in response to the scandal. By the way, only one person was ever convicted out of 12. And so the people who killed themselves weren't even going to be convicted. It was just the shame of it all was so bad. Yeah. So let me find this and I'll read just little paragraph that just blew my fucking mind. So the Teapot Dome scandal was a bribery scandal involving the administration of the U.S. President Warren G. Harding from 21 to 23. Secretary of the Interior Albert Bacon Fall had leased Navy petroleum reserves at Teapot Dome in Wyoming and 2 locations in California to private oil companies at low rates without competitive bidding. The leases were the subject of a seminal investigation by Senator Thomas J. Walsh. Convicted of accepting bribes from the oil companies, Fall became the first presidential cabinet member to go to prison. No one was convicted of paying the bribes.
Of course.
Wow.
Of course.
Yeah, and I learned about the two dudes who killed themselves from my book about U.S. history written by one of my very hard to find fucking textbook written by one of my professors personally, like that Brett busted out. She's like, oh, I know this one. So this man, Secretary of the Interior Albert Bacon Fall, evil dude's son Ned, who lived in this beautiful mansion, right? Him and his personal chauffeur, who is named Hugh. So Hugh and Ned together were the ones who brought and delivered the $100,000 bribe to this guy.
Oh.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening, so this scandal breaks in 1923. Fast forward to 1929, when the scandal has completely wrecked this family, right? And what ends up happening, the murder that happens in the house, is Ned gets murdered by his chauffeur/secretary, Hugh. And at first, they posited, okay, Hugh was mad that Ned didn't want to give him a raise. And so Hugh killed him, right? Just shot him in his parlor. But here's the thing, it was a murder-suicide. And I'm like, no. Dudes don't just murder suicide people who are, like, their business pals, right? Like, shit like that just, like, straight up doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, were they boning? So that is one theory. And I was like, you know what? Because so there's so many holes in this, and there's so many holes in it, and a lot of those holes would be filled, wink, wink, if you know what I mean, if you were willing to entertain the notion that they were banging down with each other, right? I'm like, oh, okay, so, like, we could explain some of this if you were a homophobe. But also, there's a lot of legitimate other shit, right? But I like entertaining this theory that they were gay lovers and there was a horrible, horrible affair that they didn't want to be exposed. So what happens now? It's been 5 or 6 years since the scandal. They think, oh, it's ruined Hugh's life, right? And so he went mad with just grief because of the scandal ruining his reputation, and I'm like, I don't think the worker gave a shit. Like, he was like a friend of the family. He was relatively well taken care of by the family. So I don't know that he would have been as angry, right? Depending. So that's like one of the theories. So then they find out, oh, no. It was Ned's gun that shot Hugh, right? So they thought, oh, Hugh just like shot Ned and then shot himself. No, Ned was the one who shot Hugh and then shot himself. And so then people are like, intrigue. So, right? And so multiple theories, one of them being it was the day before they were going to testify in this trial. The most likely explanation, right, for this happening is that some capitalists on not in involvement with the U.S. government, but some capitalists on behalf of the family probably killed them, right? To avoid being implicated in the trial, right? Which happens all the time. Like, I don't know if you knew this. Apparently, one of the women who had exposed the Panama Papers, if you remember that happening in 2014, right? Where it's like, oh, it turns out there really was a global conspiracy to hide all of this hoarded wealth from every nation and never pay taxes on it. That's a real thing. One of the women who exposed that was murdered in a car bombing, and another one was murdered, and neither of them have been solved, right? It's like, so, yeah, in the same way that Jeffrey Epstein was just bonk. So any time that your wealthy ass family is involved in some sort of like huge fucking scandal, if you're a liability, you're probably gonna get knocked off, right? Yeah. And
just take care of it.
Yeah. And so apparently on the night of February 16th, 1929, and this is the same year as the fucking stock market crash, so I'm thinking, oh, this wealthy family is under a lot of stress. Like, imagine if they had to go to trial for the biggest fucking scandal in U.S. history, right? Like, at the same year, like, where it's, so it would have been this kind of economic bubble, where, like, the economy seems like it's doing fucking great. But the only reason it's doing great is because the workers are, like, exploited to the hardest point possible, right? And so there's a likelihood that Hugh probably was pretty stressed out and pretty stretched thin, right? So socioeconomically, shit was probably absolutely whack. So I'm like, maybe he did off this guy, the rich dude, and he just offed him with his own gun, So that night, he shows up, and he buzzes to get into the mansion, and Ned's wife says, you shouldn't be here. And I'm like, fucking gay. I'm like, cause he's gay for him? Like, cause they're lovers. And then
I ship it. Yep.
I ship the shit out of it. So then he goes, so he comes in anyway, right? Like with his key, because he has his own key. And then so we end up with this confrontation happening in Ned's like drawing room or whatever, and we don't know what happened during that confrontation, right? It just ended up, they found him, they were both shot to death, and it was Ned's gun who shot the chauffeur slash secretary, his personal chauffeur slash secretary. They were pretty close in age. They were 32 and 35, right? So they would have, I'm just like, here's all my evidence that they were homos.
Here's my shipping manifesto right here.
Even though the mounted evidence that is just, okay, they were probably just murdered by some capitalists. Because it's literally, right? It's just like, okay, I've got all the legit evidence, but like also, I plan on becoming the world's biggest expert on this particular fucking, watch me be America's greatest fucking teapot dome scandal expert simply to prove some whack fucking gay homo history conspiracy theory. Like, I will do that. And that is why I need to live in this house, because I will do seances and I will speak to these men.
Oh, shit.
That's part of my plan. I'm like, I'll find it out from the dead themselves.
Are you gay?
He's like, listen, were you boning down?
Yeah.
You can tell me. You don't have a reputation anymore. You're dead. Nobody even remembers this scandal. Don't worry about it. Nixon took care of that. Like,
Shit.
It's like, don't even worry about it. We've moved on. And so then I got two theories that I'm stuck on, and I'm also going to see if I can find for you this picture that the LA Times, where they went into the archives and they found this, like, it's a crime scene photo of Ned just dead, right, in his smoking jacket. It's like so Gatsby level fucking, oh god, it's like the end of the Great Gatsby, like, yeah, you motherfuckers were sucking each other's dicks. Like, of course you were. It was the goddamn 20s. You had so much money that, like, you were both cute young men, right? Like, that's the type of shit that happened all the time. Wealthy people were doing that shit all the time. So I'm like, maybe, right? Also, Ned was in the Navy, or not Ned, but he was in the Navy. Wink, wink. Like, that wasn't exactly the most heterosexual branch of the U.S. military at that particular time in U.S. history.
Oh, man. Okay. Wow. You want to share the picture, and then we'll wrap up with the questions from listeners, some quick questions.
Oh, yes. And of course, I wasn't the first person to think of this. Like, other people did, but thankfully. I'm like, I know there's going to be some militant homos out there who've already done all the research for me.
Like, boy, they gay.
Oh gosh, what were the names?
I love how we started the episode going off on a gay tangent. And
See,
just
it was going to come back around.
To it. Yeah,
I was really excited. I was like,
I'm very proud of you guys. Very proud.
Full circle.
So here's the picture.
We also have some. Those were some great choices for our murder houses.
Oh,
I like how they went up. Like, I got this little dinky house, and then you got a nicer house, and then Ophelia's got a mansion. Yeah.
I've got this, like, crazy murder mansion, some oil barons fucking built. And then, after the murders, so one last thing, they were pretty sure, like, one investigation was done, the federal government was like, oh yeah, we'll totally investigate this. Didn't. And then they're like, we'll find who was responsible for this. The family, super ashamed of it, just completely covered it all up in the media, because they owned the media in California at the time. So it was like, nobody actually did an investigation into it. And then one of the books of some investigation that actually ended up getting done, they were like, the bodies were moved and there weren't any fingerprints anywhere. And I'm like, okay. Right?
That's
yeah.
Super sketch, yeah.
Super sketch. So yeah. Anyways, the picture I sent is a crime scene photo with a drawing of a possible scene of what happened overlaid over it. Because what the fuck were the 20s, my guy? Like, they're just like, well, we'll just romanticize a literal bloody dead man on the ground. Like,
wow.
And, but anyway,
that's a really interesting picture. Yeah, like, wow.
Yeah. That picture,
I'll put that one up in the show notes, too.
It looks so heterosexual, what's going on in this.
I had that, too, yeah. And with his legs crossed in his robe. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, you guys want to wrap up? We'll do some questions from our listeners from Discord?
Yes.
Patreon?
What kind of
patron-only Discord.
What they got for us?
First, from Fishmech. Hi, Fishmech.
Hello.
What do you think of the way countries are picking up U.S. Halloween traditions these days?
Oh, man. I say, yeah, I'm going to comment. The one thing I thought was really fascinating, and I've noticed this more and more. So Banana Fish, they're having a Halloween thing in Japan where they're dressing up the characters.
Oh, yeah, they did do that. Yeah.
I'm seeing several premier doujinshi artists that are just like, we're gonna do Halloween costumes, and Leo's a vampire and Gallo is a werewolf, and it makes perfect fucking sense. Yeah.
Yes, I like that one. I like that one a lot. I'm not surprised.
I'm still stuck on Hitalia, and like it has got some real cute motherfucking Halloween costumes for like every year of the last like 20 years. Who knows?
Well, like, okay, after Christmas, Halloween has become the most like commercialized holiday in the US, so it doesn't surprise me that other countries would pick it up and be like, oh, this is another way we can make some money.
Yeah, we probably we would have exported it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would say.
It is not inherently American in any way. You know, it's not like, oh, this is celebrate this such and such thing that it's like, no, it's literally just commercial. So I don't know. I like the costumes. I like Halloween costumes.
Yeah, I've always loved Halloween.
Halloween fucking rules. So if everybody wants to do it, yes.
Yeah, because to me it's like, to me, you know what, guys, you want this, take it. This is the one.
You're like, let us all share.
I will happily share this with everybody.
I'm like, nationalize and redistribute Halloween.
From Naruli, who's your favorite Australian listener? That would go to Graham Nicholson. I'm pulling shit out of my ass. Obviously, it's Naruli. It's the only Australian listener that I know we have. Oh, no. But as soon as we find out we have another one, Naruli, oh, you're in trouble. Also, listen to your mother.
Do we have any Kiwis? Maybe. Speak up. Tell us if you do.
Let us know where you're from, listeners. Like I'll let us know anything about you. We would love to hear more from our listeners.
We should start a poll.
We want more listener interaction. Please tell us things. Yell at us. Tell us to shut up.
Yeah.
Naruli also asked, what are some things you don't like about Halloween or horror?
Okay. I mean,
we know Ravel doesn't like gore.
I'm a Bobby, and I don't like gore. So, I'm more into
That's what I'd agree with. I agree on that one.
I'm more into the silliness of the Halloween, the cute stuff, the costumes and whatnot, and so I'm not super into like the the really gratuitous massacre. I can't do torture porn, absolutely not. That's no way I can do that with the.
It's not even scary really anymore. Like,
no.
It depresses me. It just outright depresses the hell out of me.
That's like, they were saying that Joker movie was like real violent. So they were really obsessed with telling me in the media about how violent that Joker movie was. And when I went to see it, I was like, there were like 3 scenes total that had like violence in them that I could remember. And I really, what I took away from it, it was like the kind of violence where it's not gratuitous. Like it's actually so real that it's like hard to watch, right? And I'm like, oh my God, no wonder it felt more violent. And I'm like, there's no way that like critics didn't walk away from that being like, this felt a lot more violent than say some B horror movie that's just like slasher
or something.
Yeah, right? Which is to say, I still love Eli Roth. Like, right? I love that.
I think there's something different. That's two very different. Like, when you take the violence to a level of realism, then it's much more impactful. Because of that realism, this is something that could really happen, that you could really witness. Versus something like Hostel. That's fantasy. That's like Ravel called it gore porn.
Still, it's gore porn. It's really like its whole different little fetish genre, huh? Yeah. But it also, in a way, it kind of is a statement. I don't know. I trust Eli Roth to be making some sort of statement with his absolutely balls to the wall nonsense that he does.
So what don't you like? Because you watch a lot of horror movies, Sade. Like what?
I mean, I don't think there's anything that I would say I hate or, like, really, really don't like. Some things that I'm maybe a little more tired of. I'm definitely not into the gore porn as much as I used to be back in high school. Sometimes I'd enjoy a, like, senseless kind of no-plot slasher movie just because at the end of the day, I don't want to think, and it's just nice to have something dumb to watch.
Some scream queens in the background.
Yeah, just, enjoying a cup of tea here. Massaging my tired toes. I'm really kind of tired with, like, demonic possession.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh god, that's like so exhausted lately.
Yeah, so, but not that I hate them, like,
it's just like, give it a chance to come back around.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it's all the same at this point. It's very Christian dominated and and Catholic in particular, so it's just the same story pretty much every time. So
in terms of like the holiday, I mean, I've never liked how it's very brushed off by the majority of people. I would love it to be a bigger thing, or I wish I lived in a small town where they had like a huge Halloween festival, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't like how commercially it is, but that's just fucking any fucking holiday these days, so.
I think, as far as the holiday goes, I know the only thing that has always been kind of a bummer for me is someone who's not like a heavy drinker. I kind of am sad that that's adult Halloween for so many people.
Making everything about alcohol is always kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
okay.
That's worse in Portland, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it since, I stopped being an alcoholic once I moved away from Portland. But a lot of people are like, everywhere is bars and all fun things to do after work and stuff are bar. And I was just like, huh. So there's been a lot of
I'm too cheap to ever...
Yo, straight up.
To drink. I'm too cheap. That's why it's not my thing. Like, I can't
literally, though, right?
justify spending that money on a drink.
I can buy this bottle of Midori for like $20, or I can get like a small glass of it for like $10. No, thank you.
Yeah,
and have to like go out. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah. Also, going into public? No, thank you.
Yeah, that's yes. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay. Also, username asks.
Wait, their name is username.
Here's some basics. Their username is username.
Okay. Can't do that to me. I'm an old woman.
He has favorite serial killer.
Oh shit.
And you know what? I'm gonna switch this up. Does not have to be. It could be fictional.
Oh, fictional?
Oh,
they don't specify. They just say serial killer. But I'm gonna put it out there. We could choose a fictional one.
Honestly, I will just say though, even though it's kind of we were just talking about, but Jeffrey Dahmer, like when the first time I watched that, like a documentary, that fucked me up. Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to pretty much sit on him.
I mean, I can only think of like, I don't know if I have a favorite, but Dahmer's one that's really interesting. Fictional-wise, Patrick Bateman is a favorite.
Yeah, he will never.
I love Dexter's character for the first 4 seasons. Like,
you don't like Lovecraft Dexter? What?
Huh?
I was like, what about Lovecraft Dexter? God, fucking. Don't even remind me. Why would you bring back that horrible, horrible traumatic memories? Of what could have been.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It just didn't go beyond 4 seasons. There was no 5th season.
H.H. Holmes is one that I find really interesting too. H.H. Holmes.
Oh yeah. H.H. Holmes. Fucking okay. Fictional then. My guy. Freaking God, that's hard. Because I love Patrick Bateman, but I can't remember his name from Horror Story Hotel. Listen, I'm a slut for American Horror Story. Yeah, Evan Peters. It's like we know.
He is like.
My boyfriend.
Okay. I fucking fell in love with that character.
He's the single greatest fucking character. Also, by the way, this most recent season of American Horror Story, 1984, fucking slaps. Like,
I finally watched Apocalypse, like, a week or two ago. Like, last week, I finally, like, I binged all of it.
My boyfriend, how many feelings do you have about Cody Fern? Because, like, he's so beautiful, and he's amazing.
As soon as he showed up, and through all of it, every time I saw his face, I just thought of you.
Yes, you should! Just Brett and I just like, this is the best shit in the world. Also, The Politician by Ryan Murphy and what's his butt? Like, very good shit on Netflix. Everything by Ryan Murphy is fantastic. So, jot that down.
I mean, if we're talking about Horror Story, we can kind of dive from TV to movie. Favorite horror movie is username's next question.
I was trying to look at my favorite serial killer. That's what I forgot.
I was actually
fucking Nielsen.
Mr. March.
Yes.
Yeah, everything about that character was in love.
Fucking perfection. Yeah.
Okay, as for a favorite horror movie, that is really hard for me to say, because I have a lot that I love, and it just really depends on my mood, my time of year, and,
I was gonna say, see, now I have the opposite problem. I'm like, what horror movies have I even seen?
Yeah.
And even so, it's like the ones I have seen, I feel like you don't necessarily deserve to be called favorite just because you're the only one I've seen. Can I just do like favorite horror related media thing?
That works. Yeah, go for it.
Umineko no Nakukoroni, the visual novel or the manga, is amazing and really depressing and poignant, and I love it. So
okay,
not bad.
Not bad.
Movie wise, I'm just gonna throw a few titles out there. The original Alien.
Oh fuck. Yeah, wait, it's funny, I wasn't even thinking, that didn't even, like, bloop on my radar as a horror movie, because, like, I'm so used to,
The Thing, for sure, is a favorite. Trick or Treat, now that we're in the holiday season for it, which I will be watching sometime next week, for sure. Let the Right One In.
I need to see that. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just, like, scanning my room, being like, okay, what movies are on my shelf again?
Oh my god. American Psycho would be my favorite slasher, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
As far as, like, slashers.
I watch every now and again. Oh god, guys, every time someone asks me this, I have the hardest time.
It's a hard one. Anna and the Apocalypse is my favorite musical horror film.
I still need to watch that.
How many musical horror films can you say there are?
True. Alright, last question, and this one's just for me, for silly fun. Favorite Halloween candy and least favorite Halloween candy? Like, what's the one that you try and get the most when you, like, barter?
Not Milky Ways, but fucking Three Musketeers can go right in the dumpster.
Worst for me was Tootsie Rolls. They used to hand those out like crazy where I was.
Oh, the weird knockoff flavor ones are also...
Fruities?
Bizarre. What?
The Fruities ones? You remember the ones we used to sell?
Yeah, those ones!
The ones that we had at Wonderland?
Yeah, those!
I used to work at a nickel arcade called Wonderland. Yeah, Fruities, actually, those grew on me and I fucking love those and I miss them.
They were more flavorful than Tootsie Rolls.
So they were like fruit-flavored Tootsie Rolls.
That sounds much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking... No, they were just the chocolate ones that were thrown about.
I never liked, like those, like, Smarties bracelets.
Oh, God.
I don't like the concept of them on bracelets.
It's a lot of work. Have you, like, and it's just like you can either chew it off, or you can just suck on it a little bit and then put your saliva and your nasty, like, saliva-covered candy right next to your skin.
As a kid, any of the chocolates, but especially, like, Snickers, like, I still really love Snickers.
Oh, that's way too heavy, man.
Too heavy.
I would eat all the Snickers. I would try and steal them from my cousins and my brother's candy bags. Like, yeah, Snickers was where it was for me.
I think for me, like, you know, if you get Reese's peanut butter cups or Reese's Pieces are good.
I was like, I love the entire family of Reese's offerings.
Yeah.
I hate it. Maybe I liked them okay a little bit as a kid, but then as I got older, bubblegum. Those the standard bubblegum flavors.
The weird hard chunk of bubblegum. That shit. Those. Yeah. Where it was just like, congratulations on memories of flavor for about a minute and a half.
Yeah. You just spit it out afterwards.
Yeah, and it's so much work to get it to a chewable consistency, and so your tiny child's jaw is just right about to fall on. For no reward. Like all the flavor is gone by the time it's chewable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I don't know the name of these, but they used to show up in my candy bag every Halloween or so. Is like, they were like these sticks of candy that had like 50s horror movie on them, and it was just like these little things that you could like break, and they had a weird flavor to them, but they were so good, and to this day I never knew what they
I have no idea what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
It's gonna like
is that a Florida thing? Or?
Yeah, is that like a Florida thing? Or is it like
East Coast candy that we never got over here?
Yeah.
It's like one dude in your neighborhood making his own, like, locally sourced fucking spooky chocolate.
Maybe. It wasn't chocolate. It was orange, but it wasn't orange flavored. And I just remember I was like, I want more of these, but they didn't really, maybe they were, I don't know.
Oh.
They didn't have the writing on the box of what they were.
What the? Okay, I need to Google this. It was
if anyone knows, please tell us what this is.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting this out there, because I don't remember what it was, and my Google skills are failing me right now. So
Huh, I'm curious. I'm very curious. I need to know.
It had a chalky texture too, I think, when you bit into it.
Yeah, like the moment you were just like, with the like movies on it, I'm like, fucking sounds like it would taste like have a chalky texture.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
What a mystery.
So let's wrap up this episode. Thank you to all our listeners for tuning in. Hope you had fun with this episode, because I had fun with this. This was fun.
Yeah.
Lasted a lot longer than... Do you remember when I said, I hope we'll have enough time, like, we'll have, like, that we'll be able to pad this episode out. It's like, well, that was easy.
No, we got a good episode. Happy Halloween again to all of our listeners. Hope you had a great holiday. Hope you had some spoopy fun. Hope you at least got some Halloween candy. Congrats to whoever our Jack-o'-lantern Carbon Contest winner is, and we'll just stay spooky.
Stay spooky!
The Witching Hour has come to an end. If you like our show, you can help by supporting us on iTunes. Leave a review. Give us, I don't know how they rate things, stars. Just help us get out there. Let a friend know that you're listening, that you like the show.
You can also find us on Twitter at Witch Hour Horror. If you're up to some horrifyingly creative things and want to talk about it on our podcast, feel free to reach out to us through email or Twitter, or visit us at creativehorror.com.
Want to support the show even more? Check out our Patreon, where you can get audio extras and bonus episodes, like all the ridiculous tangents we go off on and have to cut out of the final episodes.
We didn't have too many of this, is that one?
Yeah, I was surprised.
We did good.
We did good.
We're learning. I'm learning. It's really me.
Thank you again for everyone for listening, for spending your time with us. Whatever your creative passion is, horror-related or not, maybe it's flipping murder houses, get out there and do it because it makes you happy, and we hope you'll join us next time for the Witching Hour. Happy Halloween!
Yay!